this video is to give you a brief introduction to taking pulmonary volumes using the Iworx kits. So for starters, we just want to make sure that our hardware is plugged in and turned on. So you want to plug in the kit, okay? So you're going to use the black cable, plug that into the back of the Iworx hardware. You're going to plug that into an outlet. You're going to switch the Iworx system on, okay? And if you've done so, you should get this little green light indicating that the hardware is on and connected to a power source. And then you also want to connect the Iworx hardware to your laptop via this USB cable. Okay, so you want to get those connected as well. Then that can get tucked out of the way a little bit. And then lastly, you will want for today's lab to connect this airflow mouthpiece to the hardware using these white tubes. Okay, so there's white tubing available in your kit, and you're going to connect the tube to the Iworx hardware just by screwing, okay, these little adapter pieces into the hardware. Okay, so I hope you can see that in the video. We're just connecting those two, red to red, white to white. Okay, and then if you follow the tubing along, you will notice that there is a nozzle, okay, an adapter on the mouthpiece itself that has a red band on it. You're going to connect the red tube, okay, the tube that is on the red to the red and white to white, okay? And then you always want to orient the mouthpiece so that these tubes are connected on the top, okay? That allows for better airflow and better measurements that way, okay? And then lastly, two other things that you will need is a disposable mouthpiece, which is basically a cardboard tube. You're going to connect that to the side with the red band, okay? So connect that right, just like shove it on there, okay? And then you're also going to want a nose clip, okay? I have one here. Ours in lab look a little different, but when you're doing these exercises today, you want to wear the nose clip. You want to plug your nose using the nose clip so that all of the air flows through your mouth and we can monitor all of it and not lose some of the volume from entering the nose. We want to be able to measure complete pulmonary volume. All right, so once you have everything hooked up correctly, you want to go to your laptop and select Lab Scribe. You're going to double click on that, open it up. Assuming everything is connected appropriately, you'll get this little message that says that hardware has been found. Okay, so I have this little pop-up box. It says hardware found, that's good. So we're going to say, okay. And then you want to go up to settings and down to human spirometry, and then select breathing, rest, exercise, and click that. Some instructions will pop up. You can read through those. They're also the same ones that were available on Canvas for you. So if you've already read them, you can just minimize that screen, okay? And then you should have two channels that are visible to you. One says airflow, the other says lung volume. We're primarily gonna focus on this bottom one that says lung volume, okay? And if everything has been connected appropriately, you should, at this point, be able to start doing your breathing exercises, okay? Before you do though, you wanna actually hit record and let it start recording for about 10 seconds. It allows the equipment to calibrate. And so after about 10 seconds, you should see, oh, yep, there we go. We see that it is detecting some readings. That's a good sign. So once you have that, you can start the breathing exercises. So you'll breathe through the mouthpiece, and I'm actually going to now take you to some data that I've already collected. Okay, so I'm going to close this out. You would start your exercises here, but I'm going to take you to one that I've already done so you can see roughly what it should look like. So again, we're going to be looking at this bottom channel that says lung volume. Okay, and so what you're looking at here is I collected several breathing cycles worth of data. Okay, so these are normal inhalations or inspirations, and then the downward slope is an exhalation or expiration. And so you'll see several cycles of normal breathing for me. And then I did a maximum inhalation. So I inhaled as much as I could and then exhaled as much as I could, okay? And so then we will collect all of that data and take a few measurements. Okay, the way to take measurements is that you want to go up to the analysis, the magnifying glass, click that, and you can enter your function. So you'll go to add function, general, and then you'll add value 1, value 2, and then V2 minus V1, okay, to get all your different pieces of data that we're going to use in lab today, okay. So once you've added those, you should get numbers that correspond to the values at the positions of the cursors. So if I click and drag my cursor, you'll notice value 1 has changed. If I click and drag the second cursor, you'll notice that value 2 has changed, as well as the difference between the two. And of course, we actually want the difference between the two. So we're going to be then focusing on the V2 minus V1 on this second channel here, okay? And so when you have the first cursor placed on the peak of one breathing cycle, and the second placed on the trough of the same breathing cycle, what you then have is the ability to measure tidal volume, which is, in this particular breathing cycle for me, it was 0.649 liters, so 649 milliliters. And so you can take multiple measurements for different breathing cycles, and then you can also take data, measure the volumes for the maximum inhalation and exhalation. So if you move your cursors, okay, so say I put my first cursor, let's put it on the maximum inhalation, and the second cursor on the trough, okay, so the max that I could exhale at one time. Now this gives me my vital capacity, the volume that is the maximum that I can exhale after a maximal inspiration, okay? And so for this particular breathing cycle, it's 2.6 liters, okay? All right, so that's basically an introduction to what we will be doing in the lab today. Hopefully this video will enable you to get started and answer some brief questions, but of course I'll be available to answer further questions during the course of the lab, but this can maybe just get you started a little bit. All right, I'll see you shortly. Have a great day. Bye-bye.